Good morning, students. I hope you are all doing good. Let us see what we are going to discuss in today's class. Good morning, ma. In previous class, we have seen up to classifications of solutions. Total, we have seen 4 classifications. In that, fourth classification is depending on amount of solute soluble in solvent. Solutions are 3 types. Here, particularly soluble, that is the term related to solubility. We have to know the definition of solubility now first. So our next side heading is definition of solubility. The amount of solute dissolved in 100 grams of solvent is called solubility, which is represented by S. What is the definition? The amount of solute dissolved in 100 grams of solvent is called solubility. Let us consider the explanation of this formula. X grams of solute is dissolved in Y grams of solvent. X grams of solute is dissolved in Y grams of solvent. In 100 grams of solvent, how much amount of solute is dissolved? That is called solubility S. That is only a definition. The amount of solute dissolved in 100 grams of solvent. Let us take X grams of solute is dissolved in Y grams of solvent. X grams of solute is dissolved in Y grams of solvent. Then how much amount of solute is dissolved in 100 grams of solvent? Question mark is here. These two must be cross multiplied, divided by this one. That is equal to S. So S solubility is equal to X into 100 divided by Y. S is equal to X into 100 divided by Y. What is meant by X here? Amount of solute. What is meant by Y here? Amount of solvent. Therefore, it is amount of solute by amount of solvent into 100, which is called solubility. This is the formula of solubility. X grams of solute is dissolved in Y grams of solvent. How much amount of solute is dissolved in 100 grams of solvent? That is called solubility S. Therefore, solubility S is equal to X by Y into 100 is equal to amount of solute by amount of solvent into 100. This is the formula for solubility. The solutions, chapter 1 solid state, next electrochemistry, chemical kinetics. These 4 chapters are belonging to physical chemistry. Physical chemistry means numericals will be there, problems are there. To calculate those problems easily, we need to remember the formula. Okay, so take care of all these formula. You have to practice multiple times to remember this formula and to solve the problems. First, this is the definition. According to definition, This is the definition ma. According to definition, we found the formula, that is S is equal to amount of solute by amount of solvent into 100. Is it okay? Now we are moving to factors affecting solubility. Factors affecting solubility of solids in liquids solutions. Factors affecting solubility of solids in liquid solutions. So first we are going to see which type of factors are going to affect the solubility of solid in liquid. First one, surface area. To explain this surface area, one small example is crystal water will be soluble in water easily, or powdered salt is there na. Nowadays we are not using crystal salt ma, we are using powdered salt only. Among crystal salt or powdered salt, which one will be soluble in water easily or highly soluble? Obviously the answer is powdered salt only, because crystal salt is containing crystals, big crystals. They will take so much time to be dissolved or to be soluble, because first when we keep this crystal salt in water, this outer layer only it is in contact with water. After the dissolution of that outer layer, inner particles are coming in contact with water. Then after that inner layer, next like that, layer wise the salt is going to be dissolved. That's why it will take so much time. But same crystal is powdered, like that it is in powder state. All particles are in contact with water, then there is a chance easily it can be soluble. That's why when surface area is increased, solubility is also increased. Here one small thing ma, solubility is directly proportional to surface area. Solubility is directly proportional to surface area. That's why only powdered sugar will be soluble in water easily when compared to crystal sugar. Next, powdered salt is highly soluble when compared to crystal salt. Nowadays we are preferring powdered salt only to use, because it has high surface area, easily it will be soluble, it will give taste to the curries or any whatever it is we are using easily. That means solubility increases with the increase in surface area. This is first factor which is going to affect the solubility of solid in liquid. I hope you are clear. This is surface area ma. We will go to next one. Our next factor is nature of solute and solvent. Nature of solute and solvent. For example, polar solutes are soluble in polar solvents only. Non-polar solutes are soluble in non-polar solvents only. Polar solutes are soluble in polar solvents. Non-polar solutes are soluble in non-polar solvents. Combinedly, I am going to tell that is like dissolves like. What is the meaning of this like dissolves like? Polar solutes will be soluble in polar solvents only. Non-polar solutes are soluble in non-polar solvents. For example, NaCl is polar in nature. Na plus ions and Cl minus ions are present. It is polar in nature. Water is polar solvent. All ionic compounds are polar in nature. Water is polar solvent. So all ionic compounds are soluble in water. All ionic compounds are soluble in water. That is the reason. Naphthalene balls. For good smell, we will keep it in cloths or in our homes, like that we will keep. Those are called naphthalene balls. Those naphthalene balls are non-polar in nature. That's why if you keep that naphthalene ball in water, it won't be soluble. Okay? Naphthalene balls will be soluble in kerosene or petrol, because naphthalene balls are non-polar in nature. Non-polar means no charge will be present. Petrol is also non-polar in nature. Non-polar solutes are soluble in non-polar solvents. Like this, one common factor is there. So second one is depending on nature of solute and nature of solvent. Polar solutes are soluble in polar solvents. Non-polar solutes are soluble in non-polar solvents. Like dissolves like. All ionic compounds are ionic in nature. All ionic compounds are polar in nature. That's why they are soluble in water, because water is a polar solvent. Naphthalene balls are dissolved in petrol, because naphthalene balls are non-polar in nature. Petrol is also non-polar in nature. Non-polar solutes can be soluble in non-polar solvents. Is it okay? This is about second factor. First factor is surface area. Second factor is nature of solute and solvent. Is it okay? Next, third one. Stirring. Solubility increases by stirring. Unknowingly we will do immediately after addition of salt to water or sugar to water, immediately we will stir that one, because by stirring, solubility of that solute in solvent increases. We want to make that salt or sugar to be soluble fastly. For that only we are going to stir that one. Is it correct or not? By stirring, all the particles they will be in contact with water, and the particles are getting soluble easily. So the third property is stirring. Is it okay? Next, fourth factor is temperature. Fourth factor is temperature. To discuss the temperature factor, we need to see, with respect to temperature, there are two types of solutions. With respect to energy, heat energy, there are two types of solutions. Those are endothermic solution and exothermic solution. Endothermic solution and exothermic solution. Example for endothermic solution: NaNO2 plus water. When sodium nitrite is added to water, at the time we are going to add that one, means at the time of adding, if you touch the beaker, it will be cold. This is the beaker which contains water. To that, while we are adding NaNO2, it is getting dissolved. Homogeneous mixture will be formed. Outside, if you touch that one, it will be cold. Because outside energy, surroundings energy is absorbed by the solution. The type of solution which is formed by the absorption of energy. The type of solution which is formed by the absorption of energy is called endothermic reaction, endothermic solution. You know already what is meant by endothermic: absorption of energy. Thermic means related to energy term. Is it okay? So this is the solution which is going to be formed by the absorption of energy. At the time surrounding energy is absorbed, outside it is getting cooled. So if you touch the beaker, it will be cold. Okay, this type of solution is called endothermic solution. Example: NaNO2 plus water. Outside the surroundings will be getting cold. Inside solution is getting slightly hot because absorption of energy is taken place na, that is the reason. But we are touching outside only, so it will be absorbed as cold. The type of solution is called endothermic solution. Now coming to exothermic. Example for exothermic solution is NaOH plus H2O. NaOH is also ionic in nature. It will be soluble in water. It is a base. Bases which are soluble in water will form alkali. So NaOH is an alkali. The bases which are soluble in water are called alkalis. Okay, anyways, I am going to take one beaker which contains water. At the time we are going to prepare NaOH plus water, energy is getting released. Energy is getting released by the solution to the surroundings. The solution which is formed by the releasing of energy is called exothermic solution. The solution which is formed by the releasing of energy is called exothermic solution. If you touch the beaker, it will be hot. Because energy is released by the beaker, that means solution. Is it okay? Two types of solutions, you are clear. Now we are going to discuss the temperature effect on two types of solutions. That is, first one, endothermic solution. For endothermic solution, solubility increases by increase in temperature, because that solution wants energy. At the time of formation of that solution, energy is getting absorbed. That means the solution wants energy. So further amount of energy if you give, automatically more amount of solute can be soluble in that solution. Solubility increases. So that's why I told solubility is directly proportional to temperature. For which type of solution? Endothermic solution. For endothermic solution, solubility is directly proportional to temperature. For exothermic solution, while the solution is getting formed, energy is released. What is the meaning of that one? That solution doesn't want energy. Itself it is giving out energy. Is it correct? Itself it is giving out energy. So again, if you give energy from outside, its solubility decreases. So Here the relation is solubility is inversely proportional to temperature. Solubility is inversely proportional to temperature. That is for exothermic solution. This is for endothermic solution. So depending on the solution, we will discuss the temperature effect. Once again, we will see what are the factors affecting solubility of solids in solutions, solid in liquid solutions. So what are the factors we are going to see? Already we have seen 4 factors we have seen till now. Those are, first one, surface area. By increasing surface area, solubility also increases. So solubility is directly proportional to surface area. Second one, nature of solute and solvent. In that we have seen polar solutes are soluble in polar solvents. Non-polar solutes are soluble in non-polar solvents. Like dissolves like. All ionic compounds are polar in nature, so they are soluble in water. Naphthalene balls, non-polar substances will not be soluble in water. They will be soluble in non-polar solvents like petrol. Examples for non-polar solvents: petrol, kerosene, benzene, acetone, etc. These are all examples for non-polar solvents. Next, stirring. By stirring, solubility increases. That's why solubility is directly proportional to stirring. Finally, temperature. Temperature effect will be shown on 2 types of solutions. Depending on energy absorbed and energy released, solutions are classified into 2 types here: endothermic solution and exothermic solution. The solution which is formed by the absorption of energy is called endothermic solution. The solution which is formed by the releasing of energy is called exothermic. Now, for endothermic solution, if you increase temperature, solubility also increases, because there it wants energy from outside. So if you give energy from outside, automatically solubility increases. So solubility is directly proportional to temperature. For exothermic solution, solubility is inversely proportional to temperature. These are the factors affecting solids in liquid type of solutions. Pressure has no effect. These are the factors which are affecting the solubility of solid in liquid solutions, in which pressure has no effect here. Only temperature has effect. Pressure has no effect. Remember that one carefully. Okay. Now we will see what are the factors that affect the solubility of gas in liquid. So our next slide heading is factors affecting solubility of gas in liquid. Here only 2 factors are there. Those 2 are: 1, pressure; 2, temperature. One, pressure, and 2, temperature. Let us see how we are going to see these factors. First one, under pressure we will see. Let us consider one beaker which contains water up to this level. Kept with some gas here, fitted with some piston. This piston can be moved up and down. Okay, now this is the initial condition. At this initial condition, the gas molecules are totally 10 are there. For your understanding purpose, I am telling with numerical values. In gaseous state, those are 10 particles. Okay, this is initial condition. Already some gas is soluble. This is at initial pressure P1. On this, I am going to apply some weights. By applying some weight, force is generated because force is equal to mass into acceleration. So by applying some mass here, some force will be generated. By force, pressure will be applied. So this piston will move down. This piston will move down. While this piston is getting moved down, what happened to pressure? Pressure increases on the gas. Pressure increases on the gas. When pressure increases on the gas, some molecules of gas, they will go into the liquid state. They will go to the liquid state. That means solubility is happening. Initial condition. Now I am going to draw final condition. Because of weight, that piston has moved this much down. Previously, how many particles are there in gaseous state? 10 particles are there. By increase in pressure, this is at P2 pressure. By increase in pressure, these 10 particles which are absorbed as 6 particles only. That means what happened to 4 particles? They are soluble in liquid. What is the meaning of that one? When pressure is increased, solubility also increases. When pressure is increased, solubility also increases. When pressure is increased, solubility also increases. That is called Henry's law. Very important. Definitely in CBSE, we can expect question from Henry's law in the solutions concept. Okay, when pressure is increased, what happened to solubility? Solubility also increases. I hope you are clear. Here in textbook they will mention one term that is called Le Chatelier's principle. What is that? Le Chatelier's principle. What is that Le Chatelier's principle? Here one effect is going to be observed. What is that effect? Pressure. On the gas, one effect is going to be observed. That effect is called pressure. By the increase of that pressure, what is going to be happen? These gas molecules will respond in a way that to reduce the pressure on them. To reduce the pressure on them, some molecules are entering into liquid state. When number of molecules are decreased, automatically pressure on them also decreases. Further, if you apply more pressure, these 6 molecules also number decreases. Meaning, when keep on pressure is increased, solubility of the gas in liquid increases. Solubility of the gas in liquid increases. That is according to Le Chatelier's principle we will mention. What is meant by Le Chatelier's principle? When any effect is observed on particular process, when any effect is observed under particular process, that process will respond in a way that to reduce that effect. That process will respond in a way that to reduce that effect. That is called Le Chatelier's principle. That is called Le Chatelier's principle. For example, one fully inflated balloon is there in our hand. Like this, one inflated balloon is there. which is tied. Okay. One inflated balloon is there which is tied. Now, in these positions, I am applying pressure. In these positions, arrow marks I mentioned, in those arrow marks conditions, I am applying the pressure by using our hands. When in these positions we are applying pressure, this balloon shape will be like this. The gas particles which are present in this region, when pressure is applied on them, they will respond in a way that they will move above or below. That's why above and below inflation is happened. Here we are going to compress that one. Here we have hands. Is it correct or not? So on which condition we are going to apply the effect? There those particles or those substances will respond in a way that to reduce the effect. When we are pressing furthermore, these particles will go to above region or below region. Finally, we will get a condition, further it is not possible to move above and below. At that condition, pressure will be increased above and below, blast will be happen for balloon. Is it correct or not? That is called Le Chatelet's principle. When any not blasting of the balloon is Le Chatelet's principle, when any effect is observed on any process, that process will respond in a way that to reduce that effect. To reduce that effect, that process will be responding. That is the meaning of Le Chatelet's principle. Here 10 particles are there. By applying pressure, if these 10 particles are not entering into the liquid solution, pressure on them will be increased. Keep on pressure on them will be increased, correct or not? When we apply pressure, that pressure will be increased on these particles. When these 10 particles not entering into the liquid, then on them pressure will be increased. Then what will be happen? There is a chance of breakage of glass also. But what is happening here? These 10 particles, they will respond in a way that if they enter into the liquid solution, some particles if they enter into the liquid solution, then number of particles in gaseous region will be decreased. Automatically pressure will be maintained on that gas somewhat less. Like that they will enter into the liquid state. Automatically that is nothing but, solubility is nothing but in liquid only. Solubility of gas in liquid increases. Solubility of gas in liquid increases. One more example. Coca-Cola bottle is there. That Coca-Cola bottle, as long as it is kept with closed mouth, it will be strong. And even inside we will not see any gas particles also. At once if you open the mouth, we will observe the gas particles, they are coming out. If you have a Coca-Cola bottle, till that it is not opened, we cannot see any gas in the solution. But at once if the mouth is open, immediately we will observe the gas will be coming in the form of bubbles. What is the thing here? Already that Coca-Cola is manufactured under high pressure. In that high pressure region, this CO2 gas inside, it will be dissolved in that cool drink. At once if you open the mouth, it will be coming to outside atmospheric pressure, that is low pressure. So when pressure is decreased, what happened to solubility of the gas inside the solution? Gas solubility decreases and the gas will be expelled out. Is it correct or not? That's why if you keep like that for some more time, slowly the entire gas will come out and solubility decreases. Because when pressure is decreased, solubility also decreases. Same way, when pressure is increased, solubility also increases. This is according to Henry's law also, we can go through. That one is pressure applied on the gas, pressure applied on the gas is directly proportional to mole fraction of the gas. Pressure applied on the gas is directly proportional to mole fraction of the gas in liquid. Now P is equal to pressure, chi is equal to mole fraction of gas in liquid. This chi meaning mole fraction, the definition we have seen in 11th class first chapter. Even next coming concept also we have that mole fraction definition. Mole fraction of gas in liquid is number of moles of that gas divided by total number of moles. Number of moles of the gas divided by total number of moles. When quantity of gas in the liquid increases, when quantity of gas in the liquid increases, automatically its mole fraction also increases. What is the meaning of this one? When pressure increases, quantity of gas in the liquid increases. According to that, mole fraction also increases. So P is directly proportional to chi. P is directly proportional to chi. This is one more formula. When we are removing this proportionality constant, we are going to keep constant KH. When we are going to remove this proportionality, we are going to keep one constant KH into chi, where KH is called Henry's constant. Where KH is called Henry's constant. This is one more formula useful in doing the problems. P is equal to KH into chi. This is one type of notation for factor pressure on solubility of gas in liquids. One more thing we can write, W is directly proportional to pressure, where W is equal to amount of gas soluble in liquid. P is equal to pressure. When pressure increases, amount of gas soluble in liquid also increases. That is the meaning of this one. In a very rare problems, this formula is useful. This implies W is equal to some constant into pressure. This formula is useful in very rare conditions. Maximum problems are related to this formula only. This is about Henry's law. First factor, under the heading factors affecting solubility of gas in liquid. Pressure is completed. Is it clear, all of you? Here, what is that Le Chatelier's principle? I explained for you. When any effect is applied on the process, any process, that might be physical process or chemical process, whatever it is, okay, that process will respond in a way that to reduce the effect. Here we are going to apply pressure on gaseous molecules. These gaseous molecules will respond in a way that they want to reduce the pressure. In what way they will reduce the pressure? Here, in what way they will reduce their pressure? By entering into liquid state. When they enter into liquid state, solubility increases, automatically number of particles present in gas decreases, on them pressure will be reduced. Like that they will try. So that's why they mentioned this term, that is called Le Chatelier's principle here. Observe the condition. That is not that much important in doing the problems, all these things, but we have to know that one. Is it okay? This is about first factor which is going to affect the solubility of gas in liquid. Our next factor is temperature. Let us see the temperature. solubility of the gas in liquid is inversely proportional to temperature. Solubility of the gas in liquid is inversely proportional to temperature. For suppose, let us consider one example. Take mineral water at room temperature 25 degrees centigrade. We know the taste of mineral water. Normally water is colorless and tasteless, even odorless also. But this mineral water contains some sweet taste. Definitely we will observe that one while we are drinking. Is it correct? That is because of dissolved gases as well as some minerals. Water is getting dissolved with some gases as well as with some minerals. Okay, that is reason mineral water is containing some taste. Naturally, pure water is containing no taste. This water, if it is getting heated, means what happened to temperature? Temperature increases. When this water is getting heated, that water is getting warm. Now drink the warm water. Warm water is tasteless. We cannot observe any taste for warm water. I think those who drank the hot water, they might have known that one. Lightly, even warm water is there. If you drink that one, we will not observe any taste. The same water which we felt tasted room temperature. Because the dissolved gases in water will be gone out. That means their solubility decreases and they will be changed to gaseous state. When they entered into gaseous state, their solubility decreases by increasing temperature. This is in regular days also, general days also we will observe. By heating, what happened to dissolved gases solubility? Dissolved gases solubility decreases. Dissolved gases solubility decreases by increasing temperature. Automatically, solubility of the gas is inversely proportional to temperature. Solubility of the gas is inversely proportional to temperature. This is the second factor. These are the factors that affect the solubility of gas in liquid. Solubility of gas in liquid was affected by pressure and temperature. Solubility of solids in liquids was affected by four factors: stirring, surface area, nature of solute and solvent, and temperature. There, pressure has no effect. In solids and liquids, pressure has no effect on solubility. Is it clear? These are the two factors which affect the solubility of gas in liquid. This is about solubility and factors affecting solubility on different types of solutions. I hope you are clear. In this today's class, up to solubility we have completed. In next class, we will start with applications of Henry's law in general days, and after that we will go through concentration terms. Okay. In today's class, we have started with solubility. Solubility, after completion of the definition, we have seen factors affecting solubility of solid in liquid as well as in gas in liquid. These are the factors affecting solubility of solid in liquid, and these are the factors affecting solubility of gas in liquid. That is about today's class. I hope you are clear, everyone. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can call me or you can WhatsApp me. You can clarify your doubts, I am ready to clarify your doubts. Thank you all. Have a nice day.